How's it going, guys? Grimsie42 here, and I have got a absolutely insane package from my good buddy Jason Wells. This is definitely a very, very beefy package. There is no filler to be had. This is one of those creme a la creme, creme de la creme, however you want to say it, ginormous piles, and I am super excited. Sadly, it is not all for me. I would love to be the greedy Grimsie, but some of this is for my friends. Basically, a little quick backstory on this. My buddy Jason Wells came into a super awesome lot, and being the cool guy that he is, he gave me priority dibs on it. So I definitely grabbed a lot of titles, and to be fair, I let some of my friends know, and they each needed a couple games. So you know, definitely I fronted the money, grabbed the games, and you know, obviously I have to chase them down for the money, but if they want the games, they know where to come. Anyways, Jason was cool enough, as always, to throw in some goodies, some extras. So I'll show you guys that stuff first, and then we'll get into the games. So the first thing that he gave me here is actually 3 of the same thing. We got some complete in box NES cleaning kits. All that same original design. So pretty cool there. Could always use a new cleaning kit. I've actually got both versions complete in box, so I will probably be paying that forward to some friends. This next item here is really cool. Something I didn't have, so I'll definitely hang on to it. It's called Doc's Fix-All, and it's a video game, just a cleaning system for multiple systems. And if you look inside, it's probably all going to fall, but there's like just a whole bunch of different random assorted cleaning stuff. So really cool. Definitely something that will probably not get used too much. I like to preserve these old cleaning kits. We all have our modern methods, if you will, of cleaning games. But of all the throw-ins he gave me, this one here I think is absolutely the coolest. I've actually never seen this before, and it's definitely in really nice shape. It is a 5-pack of die-cast Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, etc. Race cars of sorts. So this is really sweet. This is something, like I said, I've never seen before. It's based off of Donkey Kong 64, so definitely really cool, and I'm totally grateful that Jason was kind enough to throw that in. Alright guys, on to the goodies. I'm going to start with the stuff that my first buddy is going to be getting. This would be my friend Oleg, who goes by Mr. Sintastic on YouTube, and I'll link his channel below. But these are all complete. The first one is Sega Sports Flag to Flag. These are all going to be Dreamcast games. He's going for a complete Dreamcast collection. This next one here I actually kind of wanted, but I knew he was more into Sega than I am, so I let him grab it. It's Armada. Next we got Slave Zero. After that we got Soul Fighter. This one looks cool, Toy Commander. And for the Dreamcast, last but not least, we got Rayman 2. Alright, so everything else that I'm going to show you guys is all Super Nintendo stuff. He actually only got one Super Nintendo game, but boy was it a doozy. This one is a game that actually I've been lucky enough to find twice. I found it complete in box, and then another time at a flea market for $15. He is now the proud owner of Demon's Crest. And this one, if you guys have not played this yet, I believe it is on the Nintendo Network. Definitely check it out. I could not recommend a game higher. This game is totally fun, totally awesome. This next one here is the lone game that I got for my buddy Chris. And it's another title that I already have, and it's something that I know he was really excited to get. He expressed interest in it like as soon as he heard about this lot, so I definitely wanted to make sure I got it for him. And it's Run Saber. It's kind of like a Strider game of sorts, and it's published by Atlas, so definitely highly collectible. Not the most expensive game in the world, but you know how Super Nintendo is. It's not the cheapest either. Alright, this next stack here is for my good buddy Brian. He, if you guys watch most of my videos, is the person I usually go game hunting with. We've been friends for well over a decade, and we definitely share the passion of collecting video games. And he was able to grab some really good games. This first one here, he already has the box and manual for, so this will complete it for him, and it's a copy of Soul Blazer by Enix. Definitely a cool game. This next one here I actually picked up when I went game chasing with Billy and Jay while I was in Texas. It's a really fun Capcom beat-em-up, Knights of the Round. These next two are a series, and a pretty good series. I actually have both of these also already. The first one is Lufia by Taito. And the next one was actually published by Natsume, but it is Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals. Whatever a Sinistral is. Alright guys, now we are on to, and I don't even know if I can pick these all up at once. Let's see, I'll probably drop some, but all of my goodies. So I will jump right into these. There are definitely some heavy hitters in here, some things I am super, super happy to get. So let me just jump in. These are all new additions to my collection, and some of these I have been on the lookout for a very long time. Alright, this first one here is an Activision title, and it's something that looks really interesting. And honestly, this is not an expensive game. You can get this for between $5 to $10. It's a copy of Excalibur 2097, and definitely looks to be interesting. I'm really excited to check that one out. This next one, I'm actually a derp, and I did not realize I already had the game prior to checking into it. My NES Collector app and my Super Nintendo Collector app apparently weren't all the way up to date. But believe it or not, still happy to grab it. This will make some awesome trade bait. It is an Enix title. One of the first games on the system I ever beat, actually, and it's ActRaiser. I remember playing this when I was a much younger person, probably 92, so I was probably 12. And I remembered how epic the final level was, where you had to fight all the bosses again. I always thought that was cool. So definitely happy to pick that one up again, even though I already had it. It's still cool to grab. I definitely enjoyed this game. I thought the graphics on it were really cool. This next one here, I remember renting it as a kid from Video Factory. That was my area's equivalent of Blockbuster. Blockbuster actually purchased them after a while, and then that was the beginning of the end for Blockbuster. But anyways, it is a copy of Earthworm Jim. Definitely happy to finally knock that one off the list. It's something I'd been looking for a while. This next one here, I really don't know a lot about. I just know that it's a shmup, or at least I assume it's a shmup, because it really looks like one. So if you guys have tried this, please let me know down in the comments what you think. And if the comments are exciting enough, or rather if the reviews of this are good enough, I will actually bump it up on the priority list and give it a chance. It's Hyperzone. And like I said, I really don't know much about it. It's a very inexpensive game, so hopefully it's fun. Definitely looking forward to giving it a try. This next one here I don't know too much about. I looked into it briefly. It does appear to have some RPG elements to it. I may be mistaken. I really just looked into it quickly, but it is a copy of Arcana. Okay, next one is something that I really enjoy. It's got a different title than it had in Japan and in the arcade, but definitely something that's really fun. It's by Data East, who were one of my favorite publishers back in the day, and it's Joe and Mac. And what I mean by a different title is, believe it or not, this is actually called Caveman Ninja in Japan. So that's actually really interesting, and I really wish that we had that same title, but what can you do? Alright, next we got a really fun-looking beat-em-up from Jaleco. Again, I've yet to try this one, but I did watch some video. It's not to the level of like a Final Fight or something like that, but it does look interesting. And it's The Peacekeepers. Very similar looking label to the Combat Tribes, so I really wonder if it's a related game of some sort. Alright guys, down to 5 more. And after this one I show you here, the rest are all going to be pretty marquee titles. This one's not that bad, but for whatever reason it doesn't hold too high of a value. And it's Ys 3 Wanderers from Ys. Now, some pronounce it I's and Y's, and I pronounce it Ys, so hopefully some agree. Okay, this next one here, if I'm not mistaken, was featured on GameSack. It's a title that looks very interesting. This one I've looked into a little bit more, and it definitely looks fun. If it wasn't mentioned on GameSack, then it was mentioned for sure on Metal Jesus Rock's Hidden Gems. Those are two of the main areas that I got knowledge of games of this sort from, so it's definitely one of those. But it's a game by Seta, S-E-T-A, and it's Kendo Rage. And it looks really fun. It's kind of a 2D action platformer. And it's got a female main protagonist, so definitely something that is high on my list and something I really want to check out. Alright, this next one here, I honestly had no idea that it was so valuable, and when I looked into it, it looks really fun, and it's a title by Sunsoft, which is a really respected publisher. They've definitely made some good games. And when I found out that this was a tough game to get and that it had a high, value and everything, I definitely wanted to take advantage of this huge bundle price and pick it up. And it's a copy of Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel. And like I said, I know it's an uncommon game, but I really didn't know much about it, and I'm super glad that I was able to add it to the collection because it definitely looks fun. I definitely recommend you check videos out on this because it looks pretty interesting. Alright guys, down to the last two, and I'm really excited to add these two to the collection. This first one here actually has a little bit of a backstory to it. Basically, when I had dibs on these, there were a few other people who had kind of first pick, if you will, and Jason had not fully sealed the deal yet, but he'd let me know some of the titles that he was going to be getting. And there was one I was really excited to get, and that was Evo. It's one of the last Enix games I'm missing. It's something that I really wanted to add to my collection, and I definitely told him I wanted dibs on that. And then because I work nights, I went to sleep. And when I woke up, I had a few messages from people who kind of wanted to get that game for themselves. They wanted to add it to their collection. So I didn't want to be greedy, and I knew that it was very important to the person who wanted it. So I actually told Jason, let them have Evo. I'll just get this title instead. And, it's not as impressive, but I'm extremely happy to get it. And it is a copy of Ogre Battle, The March of the Black Queen. So definitely happy to chip another Enix title off the list. But I saved the best for last. This is a game that I have been on the lookout for a very long time. I actually already own the box and manual for it. It's up there. And this one has a very clean label, which is not common for this game. Similar to Final Fight 3, Mega Man X3, games of that sort, Hagane. These late release games were made in Mexico, and they do not have nearly as much gloss on the labels. It's a very low amount of gloss, so they really do not stand the test of time. And most of the copies of this that you find, the labels are faded, rotting away, peeling. And luckily this copy is super clean. I was super grateful that Jason put this aside for me. He gave me a really good price on it. And without further ado, I give you the highlight, in my opinion, of this entire pickup. I now have this complete in box, and it is a copy of Castlevania Dracula X. And I'm a huge fan of the Castlevania series. Rondo of Blood is amazing. I play it on my PSP whenever I get the chance. I've actually just recently reacquired it. I had it back when I originally owned my first PSP back in the day, and I would hook it up to the TV with that wire and just spend countless, because I love Symphony of Night also, and that's on that same bundle. But Dracula X is super fun. It's not exactly the same as Rondo of Blood, but still nonetheless a very fun game, and I'm super happy to get it. And as you can see, guys, that label is very clean. This will definitely look great inside of my box. Nice to have it complete finally, and I'm definitely super grateful to Jason. If anybody has not done any business with Jason Wells yet, if you guys are not familiar with him, I will link his Facebook below. Definitely check him out. He puts some awesome deals up all the time. He has an amazing selection of games, and he really takes care of collectors. He's the type of reseller that us collectors do not mind. He definitely cares, and he always does something special. He shipped these for free for me. He threw in all those extras, and on top of that, he gave me a great deal. So once again, thank you very much, Jason, and I'm sure the same will be said by both of my friends who got to take a little bit out of this pile. We are definitely grateful, and I am also grateful that you guys stuck around to the end. Thanks as always, and until next time, guys, take care.